Well, hello and welcome to the Internal Mobility Podcast, where we explore all of the ways for you to reach your potential here at Randstad while also making this giant company a little easier to know and understand. Very excited. Today, our guest is Jenn Gosselin, and she's a senior manager in our learning and development group, where they spend their time investing in growing leaders in the organization. But she's also here today to talk to us about mentorship. So welcome, Jenn.
Thanks, Chris.
Before we talk about mentorship, will you walk me through your Randstad story?
Sure. It's a good one, actually, because it involves mentorship. So I started here 9 years ago in SourceRight. I was the first training manager that MSP and Payroll Solutions had. And I was really excited about the role. I got the job because I had built, besides my years in staffing, I had built a few onboarding programs at my previous companies, and that's exactly what they needed at the time. But I had to take a little bit of a pivot, and here's why. I was there for a month, and my manager left. So there I was. I didn't have my champion there. It was a new organization. So my fantastic and amazing human resources business partner, we all know her and love her, as Melinda Randolph. She helped me find a mentor inside the organization. And so she identified someone inside of this current team to mentor me. And so it's kind of neat. I was mentoring. I was working with him. He was my mentor. I was still doing my job, getting ramped up and building the onboarding program over an MSP. And at the time it was PICS, but now it's Payroll Solutions. And he was starting to really grow me. And we started going from just mentorship of being introduced to other people and having he talk with him about learning and development and growing there, to stretch assignments. So I would talk to my manager and say, he wants me to help out in one of his projects. Well, as long as you get your job done, go right ahead. So I started accepting some stretch projects with him. And pretty soon he actually offered me a job to come into the team. So at my year anniversary, I accepted the position, and we phased in my replacement over in SourceRight at actually a little bit past my year anniversary. And I moved into the team and started working for him. So my mentorship to learn the organization lasted quite a long time, but he offered me a job.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I can't believe
great.
I didn't know that Melinda was part of your story. And I had no idea how you ended up in the house. That's amazing.
Yep, through a mentor. And by saying yes, I tell the story a lot of my saying yes. If I had said no to, gosh, he's going to give me extra work if I start, shadowing him and how he runs the programs and learning and development, I would not have really gained the exposure to him on what I could do. So it made sense for me to say yes and do a little bit of extra work, because it ended up to being a fantastic job for me.
I'll say so. So you've defined some benefits to mentoring already. Your story is a great example. What do you think some other benefits, besides landing the job, offer to our employees?
Sure. So, you can't guarantee, right, that you start getting mentored by someone that they're going to offer you a position. But you can guarantee that if you're open to it, that mentor is going to open your eyes. So through mentorship, my eyes have been opened. I hope I've opened the eyes of the people that I've mentored. I've mentored many people while I was here. Some of the other benefits are just that building of that confidence. That was just the thing. When I started to work with that person, I knew some stuff. But having this person who was in a new organization, someone I really respected, just big career and also big education experience behind him, it felt really good, and it was very confidence building to have that person say, that's a fabulous idea, and kept doing that throughout my time with him. So that just was confidence boosting in and of itself. There's so many benefits. Some of the other things are just honing your communication, building that network, of course. And then the other thing too is just having that relationship of trust, where there's a person who the only reason why they're in it is to help you grow and because they care. So, having them say, can I give you some feedback? Yes. And when everybody braces themselves for constructive feedback, but on the other side of it, once you get it and you employ it, it was, one, I'm glad they gave it to me, and two, I did something with it, and I grew from it. So that's the benefits, I think, that I experienced being a mentee, and hopefully my people I'm mentoring experience. But no one usually talks about the benefits of mentoring. And I've gained so much from being a mentor. I really have. Just a lot of those same things So it's just been really, really powerful to be part of mentoring relationships through the years.
Yeah. So why doesn't everybody do it? Why don't we all have a mentor?
Right. So I think there's a lot of reasons, right? So one of the guesses that I would have would be maybe again that lack of confidence, right? So there's this book I love, it's called Taming Your Gremlins, and it's about this negative self-speak that we often run into, and we call it the gremlin. And so often that gremlin will just say, you don't have the confidence, that you don't want someone telling you where you need to grow and where you need to get better, and you don't really want to expose all your weaknesses to someone, do you? And so often I think people are lacking the confidence but don't realize that if they took on a mentor or asked someone to mentor them, they actually would be solving that issue by building their confidence. So I think there could be a lack of confidence. I think another thing too would be the perceived lack of time. But when you make the time to have those powerful conversations, in my opinion, they will pay just thousandfold going forward, right? So that 1 hour of time or that 45 minutes of time that I spend getting getting mentored just pays off later and either saved time or saved, getting in your own head. So I think there could be that too. And then possibly another option would be they're not asking. They're just not asking. And so I'm just going to say, like, if they're not asking, they're not going to receive the benefits of it. So, ask someone to be your mentor. Don't be afraid if they are going to say, I don't have the time right now. That doesn't mean they don't want to, they're not, into being someone that could be a go-to for you, but they just don't have the time at that time to dedicate to you. But someone else will. And so just keep asking. But definitely, I've said yes to those who've asked, and it's been very powerful.
Me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Don't you get a lot out of it though? You get so much. I think I get more out of it being a mentor than I do being mentored. That was me anyway.
The thing that I find is it's so interesting because I've got a great team and a lot of opportunity to support their development, but it's very different when you're not responsible for somebody's results. It's
Right.
a different kind of relationship, especially because it's 100% driven by the mentee, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that I see. This is what I want to hear from you on, and I've gotten a lot out of it. So much so that my family knows about my mentees and celebrates their successes with me. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
So while I've got you, I'm curious about lateral moves through the organization and this concept of the career jungle gym. And I bumped into some people recently that were reluctant to go to a new position because it was a lateral move. What are your thoughts on that?
I took a step down when I took here. If you're to look at a ladder, I took a step down when I took the position here in the organization at Randstad because, I had managed teams before. I was a program manager before, because there's so much to gain. And so I'm just going to use an analogy, and I'm going to, hold my hands up. I'm going to show it. So the way I describe it is if a ladder is just up and down, it's not as sturdy as ladders with wider bases, right? So if you're just going to climb a ladder and you're just going to go straight up, you don't have as much support at your base. But for me, I've taken a step down. It was sideways. I've taken a sideways step, and I kept broadening my base. And so by broadening my base, I've got more support. I've got more skills. I have a broader network. I have more confidence. I have, just a lot more experience in general by accepting stretch assignments, taking a lateral position. I'm taking that step down, but with sideways. And I did it intentionally to gain more, learn more, meet more, grow more. And so I feel like I've got stronger roots and a stronger base by doing that. So I would encourage anybody, don't worry about that. Think about what you're going to get out of it in the long run, with your network, with your skills, with your support, with your experience. So I would say, don't worry about it. Call me if you have questions. I'll help you understand that. My chat's always open. Right.
I also took a step back whenever I joined this team. Oh gosh, more than a dozen years ago, and I'm so glad I said yes.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant analogy. I'll give you credit when I use it, but
thank you.
I'll pick it up from here. Before you go,
do
you have a partner for talent story to share?
I do. I have two. So I'm taking credit for neither, but I will say we were talking about mentoring and it got me thinking about it. So first of all, someone I've been mentoring for 2 years, year and a half or so, just made President's Club for the first time. And that person, I believe, went to President's Club and earned President's Club because they asked for someone to mentor them and they're driven by their goals. And so they set a goal and did whatever they could to achieve it. And so when you're focused on the future, I'm going to get a mentor. I'm going to work on my strengths. I'm going to work on my areas of opportunity. You're focused on your goals. And I think that person was goal driven. So they definitely went for the prize on that one. I'm really proud. And the second one is in our Start Smart program. So our Start Smart program, which is a program for new-ish managers in the organization, they work with a mentor throughout the entire leadership program. And at the end of the program, they have a Performance Plus project. So they challenge themselves to set a goal in their team, a little bit of a stretch goal in the team. And this one person, I have notes because I loved these numbers. This person set a goal to just increase their talent working goal for the team. They generated their order generations doubled in this entire 4-week time. Their interviews increased by almost 75% in the 4-week time, and their starts increased by 80% over the 4-week period. And they've worked with their mentor throughout the entire period, got coaching, got guidance. And so I think that when you're working with a mentor, but you're also focused and driven by your goals, you can just reach the stars, I think. So those are two awesome stories I love involving mentoring.
Thank you for sharing. Thanks for being here. And thanks especially for all that you do every day to enable the people here at Randstad.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's absolutely my pleasure.
And you wear it that way too. I'll see you, Jen. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Chris. Take care.